right, you guys ready? You're already on day 6. Okay, so take a look at what we're doing today. Do you remember, so yesterday we multiplied and divided. Remember, you don't have to have a common denominator when you're multiplying and dividing. You're just looking for stuff that cancels out. When you're adding or subtracting, you do have to have a common denominator. So need common denominator. And so remember, what that means is that your bottoms of your fractions have to match each other. If they don't match, you have to fix it. So look at, let's just do number 2. Okay, so do the bottoms already match on number 2? Yes, so now I don't have to fix anything. Okay, these already match. Okay, so I'm going to put a little arrow here. These already match. So when the bottoms already match, you're allowed to make one big fraction over that same bottom. So I'll have x squared minus 5 on the bottom, and then I'm just going to basically combine like terms on the top. So if I have a 6x and a 3x, how many is that? 9x, and then negative 4 plus 1, negative 3, and that's your answer. Okay? All right, jump down for me to number 4. Okay, do the bottoms match? But I need them to match. So what can I times my 6 fraction by to make it match my 12 fraction? 2. Now when you times by 2 though, you have to do it on top and on bottom. You can't just do it on one part of the fraction. So I'm going to times by 2 here and here. So now look, I have a 12 here, and I have a 6 times 2, which is the same as 12. Now they match. So I have x squared minus 2 plus, and then what is on top over here now if it's an x, but I times it by 2? 2x, and then all over 12. Now, that is not the usual order that you would put an answer in. Normally, you do the x squared, then the 2x, then the minus 2. I don't really care about that, but if it's like PSAT, ACT, you should know they'll reorder that to where it'll look like this. Plus 2x minus 2 over 12. Okay, but those are the same. The only difference is one is more like a testing version, and the other one is just if you're doing it yourself. Okay, let's jump down to number 5 next, please. Okay, do the bottoms match? No, we got to fix it. So look at the bottom here. What type of factoring is that? Square roots. Very good. So square root both. What's the square root of x squared? X squared of 16 is plus or minus 4. So I have this now. Negative 2 over x plus 4 minus. Then I have x squared over x plus 4, x minus 4. So the first step is that if one of your fractions is not factored, you have to break it down so that you can see what's missing. Okay? So now comparing the bottoms, what do they already have in common? The x plus 4. So then what do I need to add to the first one to fix it? X minus 4. And when I put it on the fraction, I have to put it on top and on the bottom. So I'm going to put my x minus 4 here. I'm going to put my x minus 4 here. Now, in case you forgot, the order makes no difference whether they're in the same order on the bottom or not. So here my minus is first, here my plus is first, irrelevant, doesn't matter. Okay, so on the top now. So my bottom is a minus 4 and a plus 4. Again, order doesn't matter. But on the top, I multiplied that 2 by an x minus 4. What do I have to do? I am going to subtract eventually, but first I have to multiply, right? So I'm going to take this negative 2 here, because remember there was a negative right here in the front, and I'm going to multiply that into my parentheses. So my x is now a what? Negative 2x. What about negative 2 times negative 4? Positive 8, and then minus x squared. And then from there, remember, you would reorder it for like testing form if you want to. So I'd have negative x squared gets to come first, negative 2x comes second, plus 8 comes third. On the bottom, x minus 4, x plus 4. And you would leave it like that. Okay? All right, let's do number 7. Okay, bottom, so now notice on 7, we're going to have to factor both of the bottoms. So let's do this one first. What method is that going to need? Square roots. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. So I'll have 4 over x plus 5, x minus 5. That one was a shortcut. Okay, the other bottom, I need to do what method here? T-chart. Very good. So let's set up our T-chart. I need a 5 at the top. 5 is prime. 1 times 5 are the only partners that multiply to that. Do they also add to 6? Yes. So I'll have over x, x plus 1, x plus 5. Oh, crap. I did put a 4. Sorry. That is a 5. Thank you. Okay. From here, this is what we called a triple bottom. Okay, because your combination is going to end up with 3 things on the bottom. What does the first fraction need that the second fraction has? Yep, the x plus 1, put it here, top and bottom. And then what does the second fraction need that the first fraction already has? The minus 5. Very good. And so now when I look across the bottoms, they both have a plus and a minus 5. They both have a plus 1. That means that they match. That means I can combine. So first step, I have plus and minus 5 and a plus 1. But on the top, I'm going to have to distribute how many times? I'm going to have to distribute twice. Once on the first fraction, once on the second fraction. So this first one, multiply your 4 in, what are you going to get? 4x plus 4 plus second fraction times your 6 in, 6x minus 30. Yeah? Okay, from there, if anybody can combine, you have to do it. Which of those guys can go together? 4x and 6x. How many is that together? 10x. And then what about 4 minus 30? Negative 26, because the 30 was bigger and it was negative. Remember that? Cool. Okay, take a look at number 8. I'm not going to do number 8. Well, yeah, I will, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to write this a little bit bigger. Okay, look at your denominators. I don't have to break them down, but do they already have anything in common for this one? No, right? So that means that we're going to have to fix both of the bottoms. What does the first bottom need? Plus 2. What does the second bottom need? Minus 2. And whatever I put on the bottom, I have to also put on the top. So I'm going to put an x plus 2 here and x minus 2 here. On the first fraction, for this top chunk right here, what are you going to have to do up there? Double distribute, yes. And on this one, I'm going to single distribute. Okay? So let's just go one step at a time. Let's write our denominator first. So I'm going to have a minus 2 and a plus 2. And then from the top, I'm going to do x times x. What do I get there? X squared. What about x times 2? 2x. Then I go to my negative 1 here. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 plus. Okay, second term. We're single distributing on the second fraction. X times x, what do we get? And then x times minus 2 is negative 2x. Now from here, I want to put like terms together. Is there anything that can just straight up cancel out? The 2x and the minus 2x. So these two guys I can just go ahead and cross out. Since one's a plus 2 and one's a minus 2, those are gone. What can combine? Just one other thing can combine. X squared and x squared. How many x squareds are on the top? 2x squared. So I'd have 2x squared minus 1x minus 2 over x minus 2, x plus 2. Okay. And for y'all's semester exam, just again, order doesn't matter. It's multiple choice. So if you see this backwards, just it's the same thing. Okay, flip over to the back. So you have 3 to do off the front. Let's do number 10. Okay, look at the first bottom. What are we, now notice this one is already done for you, so I just have to do that one. So what method is that going to be to break it down? T-chart. Negative 10 at the top. I have 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. Which one is going to give me the correct number in the middle? 2 and 5. Which way do I minus? Minus on the 2 or minus on the 5? On the 2. Good. Because remember, if I want to get a positive 3 left over, then I need to make sure that I have the minus on the smaller number. So I have this now. I'm just going to write it right underneath this. A minus 2 and a plus 5. So look at the bottoms. What do they both already have? Plus 5. So then I want you to write on the fractions what the other one needs. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this to make it a little bit bigger. So I have 3 over minus 2 and plus 5. And then plus 5 and plus 1. Okay, what am I putting on my first fraction? Good. What am I putting on my second fraction? Minus 2. Good. And then when I look at the denominators, I see that they match each other, so I know that I'm going to be able to combine it into one big fraction. So on the bottom, I'm going to have a minus 2, a plus 5, and a plus 1. Those match. And then we're distributing on top for both of them. So if I'm doing that first one, what will I have when I distribute? 3x plus 3. Good job. And then what about my second one? 1x minus 2. Now, I don't know if you remember this. We talked about this a long time ago. But if this is a minus in the middle, I'm noticing this doesn't really happen on any of these. Do you remember that you have to distribute negative that number? So like if this was a minus, you'd have to take the minus with it. Okay. And then on the top, 3x plus 1x is 4x. And then 3 minus 2 is 1. And that'd be your answer. Good? Alright, let's do one more like that, and then we'll do one of the whole numbers off the bottom. Let's do number 12. Okay, look at your denominators. How are we going to do the first one? Square root? Oh, wait, hold on. GCF. I would square root if they were both perfect squares, but if they both have an x, I got a GCF divided by x. So my x is going to come to the front. What's going to be left over there? X minus 3. Good. Okay, then on my second one, what can I do on that one? What can both of those divide by? 3. Good. And then when I take my 3 out, what's left over? X minus 3. Then you look at your denominators, see what matches and what you need to fix. So they both have the x minus 3. I don't have to fix that. Okay, but what does the first fraction need that the second fraction has? 3. What does the second fraction have that the first fraction needs? An x. And then remember, like we said on the front, order doesn't matter. So notice here, I put the 3 in the front. Okay, here my x is at the back though. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter. So my denominator, now that they match, is a 3, an x, and an x minus 3. On the top, you just multiply and then combine like terms if you can. What's 3 times 4 on the first top? 12 plus. Second top is a 6x. Can those go together? No, not like terms, so you're done. Make sense? Alright, come down to number 13 or 14. Which one? 13? Okay. Now, first question, 4 is a whole number. What is its denominator? A 1. So when one of the things is a whole number, you do not have to break down the other denominator. This is why. even if I did break this down, right, it'd be a +3 and a -3. What do those have in common with 1? Nothing. So you don't have to break it down if one of the numbers is a whole number. So I'm going to put this over 1. And then what am I going to multiply the 4 by? X squared minus 9. Where am I going to put it? Top and bottom. Now, my second fraction has a 1. Do I need to fix that on the other fraction? No. 1, anything that you times by 1 is going to stay the same anyway. So if it's a 1 on the bottom, you don't have to fix that. So I'm going to rewrite this a little bit bigger. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I have this. And those denominators count as a match because the 1's not really missing. If you want to put a 1 down here, you can, but it's not going to change anything. Okay, on the top, what am I going to have? So 1 minus 4x squared, and then what about the minus 9? What is it now? Plus 36. Very good. And then if any of those guys can go together, I have to do it. Can any of them go together? The 1 and the 36 can combine to be a 37 minus 4x squared. And then on the bottom, I had an x squared minus 9. Make sense? Okay, cool. We're going to do one more off the front just for the people that came in late so that they can see an example off the front. So flip back over to the front for me, and let's do number 3. Okay, you're going to have to break down the 9x minus 9. What can I take out of this guy? Yep, so GCF, divide by 9. So then I'm going to have 8x over 9 minus 2x. And then when I take that 9 out to the front, what's going to be left over from that? X minus 1. Good. And so then I look at my bottoms. They both have a 9. But the first one needs what to match? X minus 1. Now I'm going to put my x minus 1 here so that I can distribute. Okay? Then from there, on the bottom, I'm going to have a 9 and an x minus 1. Doesn't matter what order you put it. You can put the x minus 1 first if you want. What will be on the top? 8x squared. What about 8x times minus 1? Minus 8x. And then what about back here? Minus 2x. And then I will want to look and see if anybody can go together. Minus 8 and minus 2, those can go together to be how much? Minus 10 when I combine those. So I'd have 8x squared minus 10x, 9x minus 1. Make sense? Okay, last two on the front. Number 1, do you have to fix anything? Number 1? Or do they already match? They already match. So if the bottoms match, you just add it up. What about on number 6? Are you going to have to fix? Yes, you're going to have to T-chart this other base. Okay? Alright, so I know first period, sometimes you guys struggle to be on time. So if you've missed a day, all the videos are on the website. So I don't want you to get behind. The website is here. I'll write it down for you. But it's missjoyner.weebly.com. And remember that each of these days count as a test grade. They're only 10 points, but they can really bring your grade up if you do every day. So you're going to click on the Algebra 2 tab. And all the videos are there. They're labeled. So if you need to get caught up, okay, then I wouldn't wait till the last minute. I'd start taking care of that stuff now. Also, if you were not here the day that I passed back tests, you can correct those during lunch or after school tomorrow. So if you, or you can do it now if you want to. Okay, but just don't get behind. We're really close to summer. Nobody wants to retake Algebra 2. So just kind of look at your focus. You got a progress report. Yep, and that's it. Okay?